Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Adam McKola TV. I am Adam. He is Mr. Stephen Howson. You can check him out on YouTube as well. The link is in the description below. And we are here today to talk about how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has transformed Manchester United. Firstly, do you think he has transformed United?
Undoubtedly.
That's a good start then, because this video has got somewhere to go. Because if you didn't, it'd be a very short video. Now, I've made a little list here, Steve.
What's on your list? And
I feel like you'd agree with most of it. I don't want to say it all out, but I feel like you'd agree with most of it. And I feel like most of it is going to come up in what we're talking about here. What is the main way you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has transformed United over this season? Because it's been a slow build.
The feeling.
So that would come down to there. Number 9, maybe. Fans on side?
No, not the fans feeling. Or maybe it is the fans. No, it's not about being fans on side.
Or is it a combination of everything?
The feeling I have about United, there was at times towards the back end of Jose where it felt like hopeless. You knew the players didn't like him. You knew there was a helplessness. You knew that we was going to go to Anfield and we were going to set up and hope to get a point. You don't feel like that. You know, we go to the Etihad, we go to even to Anfield, we try and win that game, and people are like, oh, we're playing 5 at the back. Yeah, but we're trying to win the game still. He's coming up with a system that negates what they do, but accentuates what we do with the idea of getting 3 points. I think we're top, apart from Liverpool, of that little mini league, aren't we, in terms of the top 6 sort of teams. We're very, very good in those games. We go for it in those games. We might concede possession, we might do this, he's sitting there, whether he gets it or not, he's sitting there and he's saying to the lads, here's how we win this game.
The feel-good factor then, because I agree with you, I mentioned it before, I think it was after the Bruges game where no matter how many changes we make to a team, no matter who we're playing against, no matter where we're playing, I feel like we're going to get a result. And there was that point of time where we weren't doing very well away from home. We hadn't won in how long? We hadn't won back-to-back away games.
Back end of the season, it didn't necessarily
It was
feel
horrible.
Like that, but this season they do.
I feel that comes down to a combination of things. So not only are the fans on side, but it comes down to how positive he is in the press, which is something that
he gets rinsed.
Got wrong.
Solskjaer gets rinsed for it. Now, you've almost got 2 completely opposite ends of the scale. Jose he's been what he's been at Spurs. He's negative, he's bitter, he's antagonistic, and I think that bleeds through into the way he is in the dressing room. Solskjaer is too far the other way. I would rather sometimes he criticises what needs to be criticised. I know that he's totally different in the media to what he's like in the dressing room, but Jose wasn't. Jose was the same. He was moody with the press and he was moody with the players. Solskjaer's a bit more balanced, but I still think he's too positive. I wish he would be a little bit more realistic sometimes in the press conferences, rather than he almost says like if you watch Pep Guardiola in a press conference, you feel like he's lying to you before you even know what he's saying. And I don't want it to feel like that with Ole. And I think he teeters dangerously into stuff when he says, I'm really happy with the squad. No, you're not. That's why you're buying players and fucking them off.
But I think he has to strike that balance. And I think that we saw the mistakes Jose made. And I think he's probably seen that.
Yeah, and I think he's probably gone too far the other way to make a point, perhaps.
And I have no doubt as well that he's probably from that Fergie way of thinking where I'm going to protect you in front of the cameras, behind the cameras I'm going to do you. And
which he's definitely done.
You get that impression from behind the scenes as well. And his man management, again, another thing that's on this list and is a big part to why we're feeling so good going to games, has been huge for us. And you just look at 2 players that were hit and miss under Ole, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial.
Jose.
Under Jose. And you look at the improvements that they're making and have made under Ole. Fred, even. And you hear about Fred and the way he was managed. It was almost like, you're never going to play for this club. You're not good enough. Whereas Ole had a different approach where I'm going to make you good enough. I'm going to give you the confidence. Because it almost seemed like his head was dropped when he made a mistake. And that's not happening anymore. So the coaching staff have been coming into it as well.
So
Carrick and Co.
One note that I had with Jose, was it Young Boys at Home? 2 minutes into the game, Marcus blazes one over the bar. And Jose does this big theatrical... No, it was when he was like that to the crowd for,
he looked
for a
around
touchline.
Like, it's not my fault. Like.
Yeah. And you think, a good manager tries to make eye contact with Marcus there, and he's like, oi, next one goes in. 2 minutes into the fucking game, not the 89th minute, and like, you've just cost us this game, you dick. 2 minutes into a game.
And that didn't sit right with Rashford's family, did it? Because I do remember his brother posting about that, and I get it, like, because especially as a younger player, you need the guidance, don't you? You need that arm around your shoulder, and you almost have to accept they're going to make mistakes. Because we had to do that with Rooney and Ronaldo, and Jose is a man that doesn't have the room for that. I can't take any mistakes. Whereas Ali is kind of, you're going to make mistakes, but if you learn from them, I'll allow you to stay in the team. And that's working, isn't it?
Apart from, I think he's probably persisted too long with Pereira, although he seems like he might be.
Is that out of necessity rather than choice?
It might be. It might well be, but then why not try a Garner more or try a Levitt more when the opportunity?
But they have had injuries at times.
They have, but like I feel like there's been all right, Angel.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with Angel.
You know, there has been. I mean, and there might be exterior reasons for that. Like the contract situation might be one of those reasons. There may have been an indication that Chong was always going to sign earlier than what they're getting with what's going on with Angel. And I don't know what's going on with Angel at the minute at all. So I think it could literally go either way.
It's gone really quiet, that one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
As well?
I literally think it could go either way. My gut feeling is he'd probably go.
My gut feeling is if he was going to stay, he'd have signed.
I think he'd have done it already because the opportunities are there to play. And I think in negotiation, if you want to stay, you can, you know, people probably don't like to hear this, but players get guarantees, especially when they're signing extensions, especially when they're players of that sort of ilk and age. They get like, well, can I get 10 games before the end of the season? You know, they might be 30 minutes off the bench, shit like that.
So we think, yeah, all right, he's maybe got some things wrong, but do you think that his management of the youth and the talent come through is another reason why it's feeling so good at the moment? Because whilst there is a lot of complaints about the treatment, or not the treatment, rather, the lack of selection of Garner and Gomez, because I don't think they've been treated badly. It's just they haven't been picked. There has been some good players that have come through and taken their chances.
Yeah, and he's given those opportunities out. I think he's given, like, you know, per the time he's been here, more debuts than anybody.
So we've got Brandon, Mason.
He didn't debut Chong because Jose did him just before.
He didn't debut them, but he's been giving them game time. Scott McTominay's fortunes have continued under him.
He was doing well
as they did under Jose as well, yeah. Axel was in and around the team after the Aston Villa loan.
Obviously,
he got injured before Liverpool, right?
There's the Astana game heavily influences that, but you know, even the bringing on of Greenwood, like, was there any planet which you could see Jose bringing on? Did he bring on Delot, Greenwood, and Chong in Paris? Was that his subs? Right. On what planet? Was Delot 20 or 19 at the time?
It's 19, yeah, I think.
Does Jose ever bring 3 teenagers on the Champions League?
And you look at the way he approached the Leipzig game with Spurs, who had a decent... They never had their best team.
Got some good players,
missing some big players, but they had some decent players there. And you look at the way they got through the Champions League last year.
I think how calm Ollie was in that game alone. And I know since then we've actually had some great nights.
But that's the thing, isn't it? We're going into games thinking we can get a result no matter what the game.
There was no panic in that, even though the clock was ticking. That Paris game, and you got to talk about it because it's a big factor. That Paris game, the clock was ticking, and he made his subs like they were planned because they came on at like 60, 65, or 70, or whatever it is what they came on at. They came at like quite specific times, and it just felt like he was in control, even though he clearly wasn't. He just felt like he wasn't panicking. And then obviously we got the opportunity. Marcus slots it away, one of the best fucking penalties you're ever going to see. And obviously all the wheels fell off then. Royal, but. That sort of performance, and obviously we got tatered by Barcelona.
Have we improved since then?
Undoubtedly. There's areas that we maybe aren't better than. Like
where do you think he can improve?
Set piece defending, set piece attacking, set pieces. Full stop.
What about the defence? What have you made of the defence? Because I've put here he's settled the defence.
Well, we do have that record or stat of like X number of clean sheets, second highest in Europe. Don't think that tells the entire picture.
Heavily influenced by Romero's clean sheets against teams we should be keeping clean sheets against. But then you can only get clean sheets against...
I mean, he's still done them.
Yeah.
That's good squad management, if that's the case. If you get a clean sheet with your rotated squad, fantastic, brilliant, yeah. Rather than Klopp rotates, goes out and goes, well, we're a rotated squad. Sounds mate. We're fucking chugging along nicely with our rotated squad. Happy days. Obviously a different level, but still a fucking trophy at the end of the day. You lot seem to like fucking counting shit League Cups and stuff. Anyway, I think there's obviously Maguire got a lot of shit for his price, I think, early doors, but latterly he's been fantastic.
Since he got the armband,
yeah,
he's
probably
grown
about
into
that
it, hasn't
time,
it?
yeah. Wan-Bissaka from a defensive point of view, flawless.
Player of the year for me.
He's in there. He's in the conversation. Lindelof hasn't quite got to either of those two levels, but there's certain games where he does fantastic.
Challenged enough, Lindelof. His only challenge at times has been Jones. Twanzebe's been out injured. Bailly's been out injured.
Yeah, possibly.
And I think Bailly and Twanzebe, I think with them two, Lindelof and Maguire.
Oh, it's a lot of hot sauce.
Yeah, we've got 4 quality.
I like hot sauce,
centre halves there. And I do think the defence has gone some ways. New signings.
Bernard is going to push them hard unless he goes on loan next season. Ted Mengi is getting a height train. Not a centre half.
No, in the defence, sorry.
Even Laird should be a United defender.
Because he can play right, he can play left. We got Delo who can play right and left. We've got Brandon who can play left and right.
Delo should have posters on his walls of Wan-Bissaka. He's so... Not Wan-Bissaka, sorry. Ethan Laird. He's so much better than Delo in every area.
I like Delo.
Cool.
I think he's a good player.
He's not as good as Ethan Laird.
No, that's fine. But I think we're looking at that now. We've got a lot of young, talented players in a lot of different positions. And even in goal, Joel Pereira, Dean Henderson could potentially come back. What's going on over there? What have you seen? Is that Joe McGrath?
It is Joe McGrath.
I can't stand that fella. Been following me around all day.
He's brought us cables by the look of it.
Yeah.
Cable dealer.
He's just bought them off a smackhead. But anyway, carrying on with how Ole has transformed United. So we've spoken about the Deadwood being gone, the positivity in the media. He's settled the defence. He's getting the best out of what he has. He's got the fans on side. He's putting the club first, which is obviously a good thing. I don't think Jose did that at all times.
No, even to his own detriment, I think Ole puts the club before him.
But is he tactically flexible and good enough?
Fucking absolutely tactically flexible and good enough. No one beats Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola in the same week. Nobody. And he did it with different systems as well. And it was 3 times.
Yeah. We'll say 2 because we still went out in the League Cup.
But he beat him. Yeah. And he goes down on your win record as a win. I think tactically, obviously it's reliant upon having players that are able to fulfill your tactical requirements. But I think tactically he's been very good. And yes, he changes the formation. But there's also things that they do within that formation that are really tactically astute. I still think we can be better. But there's been some little tweaks and little things that I've noticed that them do. People who hold certain runs or target a certain area that I've been really impressed with, which is why I know that Ole's the right man for the bigger game, which means that for Manchester United, he's the man to be getting you from a quarters to a semi to a final and then lifting a trophy at the end of it. I don't think you'll see United get to many finals with Ole. And let's say, Mike Phelan, Carrick, McKenna, the whole team. And I don't think you'll see United fall at many cup finals if we get there.
Because a lot of people are kind of ridicule McKenna and Carrick and Phelan, don't they?
My understanding is the players love working with them.
Because we have heard a lot of change the coaching staff and do this. And we've even had links with Poch. I've been pretty much certain that Poch will be here in the summer. Now we don't know when the footballing summer is going to be. But I think what Ole has done so far, and if the league was to finish here, he can say, well, I've improved what I've got. I've improved the team. I've improved our
signings of all
fans are happy.
Mint.
Are there any reasons you could look at him and say, he has to go for that? Or he has to go, or I'm worried about that?
There was the persistence of certain people being picked, but they've hardly been seen since new signings came in, and that goes okay.
I like Jesse, but even Jesse's been...
He's not been good this year.
And he's just been, all right, you're not good enough.
Yeah, he's got the looks like I'm leaving itis that everybody got struck with last season. I think the set pieces is a worry because we look fragile at that. I think there's the playing out of the back, not good enough at times. He's not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's perfect. But I think overall it's working. And you got to remember, man, people go, he's been here a year. What the fuck is a year?
And I don't feel like you can include that caretaker manager as part of his job here, but you can't use it because would he have been properly preparing for the permanent job as a caretaker? Do you know what I mean?
No, it would just
you've got so much to worry about.
Get us through to summer, or whatever the remit.
And none of us expected him to stay.
No. So it would have been get us through to summer. Now people are like, we give it him too early. No, I'll stand by it. It was the right decision at the time. It was the right decision at the time.
I thought we gave it too early still.
My reasons that I think it was the right thing for, we had 11 first-team players that were on contracts that were coming to an end, whether they entered there last year or they was done last summer. Now, they clearly like working with this guy. He's absolutely obliterated every record that there is for the first 10 games. He's just done what he's done in Paris. The players like him. Fuck it, this is working. Why risk changing that? Having the upheaval again, the risk of appointing a new man that the group might not take to. Oh, this guy's a guy, fuck it. And then you start getting people signed up. Now, actually, you didn't get that many of the ones that you wanted to sign up. You got a few. Marshall got signed up. Rashford signed up. Mason Greenwood signed his pro deal. There were people that started to sign, and that might have been because of Ole. They might have signed anyway, but they signed with Ole. If you'd have gone and appointed Poch or Ancelotti or somebody else at the time, you don't know. Much like people are saying, like, oh, Liverpool are probably going to win the league. Okay, but they haven't won it yet. So you can't say that that's what's going to happen. In all probability, yes, but you don't know. So all of those factors play into it. What mattered was he was the man at the time that did it, and there was external circumstances and things that was happening around at the time that needed a steadying hand. And the easiest thing to do, the most sensible thing to do, was give this guy a permanent opportunity and let him take it after this start. He said he deserves it. Now, his approach as a manager for temporary and permanent could have been different. The players' approach to him and the team might have been different as well. People forget that. People might have just, whatever, or people might have downed tools, if you like. We saw some of that. Lukaku supposedly wanted out from March. It was about the same time as everything started to go tits up. So you don't know what happened in that dressing room. This year, I feel like some of the results was down to just not having a great team out. And then that team having to play week in, week out.
You've got to maintain. Like, it's easy to have a dressing room where people think we're not winning, and if new players come, we'll start winning. But maintaining the kind of togetherness and we can still keep going and getting that positivity building.
Team spirit in a minute.
We have got a good team spirit, and I do feel like we're moving towards being us again. Not that we're going to win the league and the Champions League, but being United again, going to games, expecting to win, and long may it last. So I think he has transformed us, but like you say, he's not perfect. And there's a lot of areas of improvement, but he's earned the time to prove that.
Enough for me to not want to change him.
Yeah.
I would say. Like I said, I don't think he's perfect. Not going to tell you he's the best manager in the world.
Best manager in Manchester?
Proven.
Yeah.
It's not fucking Pep, is it?
It's not, no. It's 3-1 to Ollie this season, so there you go on that one. And he might get a few more trophies in him as well. Not bad. Steve, where can the people find you? They already know.
As well this season.
Oh, yeah. FA Cup final.
In the cup.
Steve Howson on Twitter is youtube.com/Steve Howson.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's weird because when I put Stephen Howson the other day, it never found it.
Y'all find it.
No, I put Mr. Stephen Howson the other day.
Yeah, you won't find it.
Yeah, it's a different Stephen Howson that was. So check out Steve Howson. Check out Stretford Paddock. Check out Full Time Devils and subscribe to Adam McKola TV. Until then, ta-ra.
Son of a bit.